You hear the name El Dorado, right? And your mind probably jumps straight to lost cities, golden temples, all that stuff. For centuries, that single name fueled these wild expeditions and totally captured people's imaginations. But here's the thing. The real story of El Dorado, it isn't about some city that was found. It's about one that was built, from the ground up, by just sheer force of will.
So I want you to just forget everything you think you know about that name. This isn't a story about some mythical city of gold. Nope, it's the story of a very real town in Trinidad where the treasure wasn't something you could just dig up. It was something you had to build with pure, unyielding grit.
And you know, the irony here is it's almost poetic. Think about it. Trinidad was the exact place where explorers like Sir Walter Raleigh launched their quests for that mythical city of gold. But right there, under their noses, a totally different El Dorado was taking root, and its story couldn't be more different.
So where does this town's real story begin? Well, it's not with conquistadors in shiny armor. It starts with laborers. We're talking about people who traveled halfway across the world under these incredibly difficult circumstances, and they brought with them a bond that would become the very foundation of their new home.
Okay, these two terms you see here are the absolute keys to understanding everything. First up, Kalapani, that's the black water. It refers to the absolutely harrowing, terrifying sea journey from India. But, and this is so important, out of that darkness came something incredibly powerful. Jihagi. That means ship-brotherhood. And listen, this wasn't just about making friends. It was a life-altering bond forged in shared struggle, a promise of survival that would literally become the soul of their new community.
All right, so fast forward a bit. Indentureship ends, and these laborers, they get an offer, a deal. Forget the ticket back home to India, they're told, and take this plot of land instead. Sounds okay, right? Well, here's the catch. The land was awful. We're talking swampy, prone to flooding, not exactly prime real estate. But this is where that Jihagi spirit just kicks right in. They didn't see an impossible obstacle. They saw a challenge they had to overcome together.
And that spirit, that we'll do it together attitude, well, that led to the single most legendary event in the town's entire history. Seriously, it's a story that's almost hard to believe, and it's just this incredible testament to what a community can do when it truly acts as one.
Okay, you really have to picture this. The year is 1947. Food is scarce after the war. The village council, the Panchat, decides we need our own co-op. Simple enough, right? But the only available plot of land was part of a riverbed, a literal riverbed. So what do? Give up? No way! The entire community, men, women, everyone, came out with shovels and pickaxes, and by hand, they physically dug a brand new channel to divert the river. Then, they took all that earth they just dug up and used it to fill in the old riverbed, creating solid, buildable land out of absolutely nothing.
I mean, let that sink in. They didn't just build a building. They physically reshaped their entire world with their own two hands. They didn't wait for permission. They didn't wait for help to arrive. They built their own foundation, both literally and figuratively.
All right, so let's jump to the present day. How does that incredible history translate into the El Dorado of today? While that same foundational spirit, it's still there. It now powers the economic and social heartbeat of one of Trinidad's most vital areas.
So, to get your bearings, where is El Dorado today? It sits smack dab in the middle of the east-west corridor. You can think of this corridor as the country's urban spine, a 24-kilometer stretch of high-density, high-energy life. It's basically a nerve center, a place of constant motion, commerce, and connection.
And this really captures the town's unique character. It's like there are two El Dorados. By day, you've got the formal economy humming along. The big supermarkets, the hardware stores, all the stuff you'd expect to see. But then, when the sun goes down, a whole second, incredibly vibrant economy just explodes into life. Places like the nearby Eddie Hart Savannah transform into these massive hubs for street food, for social life, for grassroots entrepreneurship. It's this amazing blend of the formal and the informal that gives the community its real, dynamic pulse.
But believe it or not, there is one more, really surprising layer to this town's identity. Because from those roots of collective action, El Dorado has grown to hold this immense and kind of hidden power, one that quietly shapes the entire nation.
Okay, so here's how this works. Geopolitically, El Dorado is in the Tunapuna parliamentary constituency. And why does that matter? Because Tunapuna is what's known as a key marginal seat, or a swing seat. It's not safely aligned with any one political party, which means its voters hold a huge amount of power. Seriously, how they vote can literally determine who runs the entire country.
And get this,
This isn't just some random trend. It's an unbroken pattern going back to the year 2000. The party that wins this seat wins the entire election. Every single time. Let that sink in. This small town and its surrounding area, they're basically the nation's kingmakers.
And this quote just nails it, right? It perfectly connects the past to the present. That exact same spirit of collective action that physically moved a river, now it plays out at the ballot box. That ability to come together and redirect a powerful force is now exercised through their votes. What an incredible legacy.
So, when you think about it, the legend of El Dorado, it was real all along, just not in the way anyone expected. The true gold, the real treasure, was never something you could just find lying in the ground. It was something they built together. It was the strength, the resilience, and the power of a community that learned how to build its own world.
And that really leaves us with a powerful question for our own time. When you look at the massive challenges we face today, you have to wonder, right? What is our version of that river? What present-day problem will require that same level of mass collective action, that same incredible spirit, to come together and, metaphorically, move a river?